Welcome to another episode of Geekmen and the Masters of the Thunder Nerds. I'm Dustin, and today we have with me Pumira and Barb Kaalberg, right?
Yep, pretty good.
It's best I can do.
Yeah, it's Kaalberg, but most people say Kaalberg, so you're kind of halfway in between.
Yeah, there you go. And we got hello from Madness.
Hi, Pops.
Yeah, there we go. And we'll go ahead and drop this in there. If you're looking at all this, there we go. Oh, you have another regular. Hi,
Jessica.
So, how have you been doing? Other than hot,
busy, yeah, hot and sweaty. Yes, I think everybody in the nation is hot and sweaty at the moment.
Yeah,
been very, very busy. I'm supposed to be retired. Yeah, that doesn't work very well.
right.
I'm retired from the Muggle world. Let's put it that. It had been for the last 5 years. But as far as comics are concerned, I'm flat out running constantly.
Wow.
I kind of took kind of a hiatus from comics. I kept my little toe in for many years after like 2001 when the industry kind of imploded. And most of my peers and I went back to finding regular work after working full-time in comics. And about 8 years ago, I started kicking into gear again, getting more and more back into comics. And 5 years ago, I retired and went full-time doing comics. So I retired at 60. So that means I'm 65 now. So it keeps me young. I have grandkids. But I have like 3 or 4 projects on the board at any one time. So more than busy. And I do shows.
Yeah. So when's the next show you have coming up?
The next show I have is going to be in Cedar Falls, Iowa at the College Square Mall. And that's on, I'm looking at my list here, July 28th. I have a whole list of shows.
Nice.
And then after that one is September 8th in Dubuque at the Five Flags Events Center. And then after that's the big Madison Expo here is at the Alliance Center in Madison. So yeah, I keep very busy. I do at least one show a month. I babysit the grandkids one weekend a month while my son and daughter-in-law are on guard duty. My son is full-time guard. My daughter-in-law is part-time guard. He's been full-time guard for over 20 years. So he's a master sergeant now.
Wow.
So I'm a military mom.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. And we all serve in our own ways. And my service is babysitting. So
yeah, right.
And sewing on patches to the uniforms.
Yeah.
Nice. That's always useful. I know I couldn't sew to save my life.
So between that, and I'm also I'm the chief financial officer for Silverline.
Oh wow.
So in addition to doing my comics and the grandmother thing and the shows, I also keep the books for Silverline Comics.
Oh
so
wow.
I'm more than busy. But it keeps me young.
Yeah. I imagine so. I mean, wow. You definitely have a lot on your plate.
Yep.
So you've been in comics for how long?
35 years, a little over 35 years. I broke in, or my first published piece was in 1989. And actually, I lied to get that job. So,
oops.
Eternity Comics, which was a part of Malibu, and Adventure Comics, which is part of Malibu. Eternity Comics, I showed my portfolio in San Diego in 1988, I believe it was, and they said, "Yeah, well, can you do gray washes?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure, no problem." I didn't even know what gray washes were, but they say fake it till you make it. So yeah. I came home and I checked out some books from the library. This is pre-Google, by the way.
Yes.
Right.
Checked out books from the library on watercolor. I'd been an acrylic painter, but I'd never watercolored in my life. So I read up everything I could on it. And they sent me the pages and I colored them gray washes and a couple of issues of that. And they said, did you want to ink Planet of the Apes for Adventure Comics? I'm like, oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I did 11 issues of Planet of the Apes for Adventure Comics, and then they moved me into the Ultraverse set of books, and I did a lot of those. And I did every single solitaire issue, and I worked on at least one of almost every other book that they had in that line. And from there, it was just kind of a natural progression to DC, Marvel, Warp Graphics, Dark Horse, now Innovation. I've lost track of Palliard Press. So I've done well over 200 books.
Wow.
And over 5,000 pages in 35 years. And that's including taking, kind of slowing down a lot for about 10 years.
Wow.
That's
crazy. Let's see.
I was an inker only up until I hit 60, which was, for all you folks, nice folks out there, 5 years ago. So I'm not ashamed of my age. When I hit 60, I fully retired from the Muggle world and jumped fully back into comics. And I said, if I'm ever going to do something different after 30 years of doing inks, then I better get off my ass and do it. And around that time, my brother was diagnosed with cancer. And this book came to me fully fleshed out in a dream one night.
Wow.
This book on Divinity. So I said, I'm going to write this book. I've never written a comic. I'm a good creative writer. I've never scripted though.
Yeah.
And that is a completely different animal. So at about that same time, age caught up with me, and I developed a very, very slight tremor in my hand. It's not very noticeable. I could notice it. I suppose people looking at my artwork wouldn't notice it, but I switched to digital. Never done a digital thing in my life.
Oh, wow.
Because I was always a kind of a snob. Oh, it's not art unless it's physical art. But yeah, I changed my tune really quick on that.
Yeah.
So I got an iPad and started doing digital inking. And I said, well, as long as I'm doing digital inking, I might as well learn coloring as well.
Yeah.
So in the 5 years that I've been doing Divinity, I've learned to script and color. So I ink, script, and color now. And
nice.
My first 4 issues, including this Divinity issue, a very well-known writer, R.A. Jones, scripted it, helped me script it. And then as of issue 5, I took over all of the writing myself. But it's been a great learning experience.
Yeah.
Wow.
Imagine so. So let's just pull up some of your artwork here.
Yep. This is the first page of issue number 4 of Divinity. And for the newbies out there, Divinity is Divinity is an 11-year-old girl. We call her Vinny. Her nickname is Vinny. And her parents die in mysterious circumstances. So the Marine Corps issues her half-brother, 24-year-old Zachary Gray. She's Divinity Gray. Gives Zach Gray a hardship discharge from the Marines. And he has to come home and take care of his young sister, whom he barely knows. There's 13 years of difference in their age. And when he left for the Marines, she was only 5. So he really doesn't know much about her,
Wow.
except for a few visits home. So he's stuck with an 11-year-old girl, which to him becomes more scary than being in the Marines. And he barely knows her. And he discovers that there's something very fishy about the deaths of his father and stepmother. And during the course of his investigation, he finds out that his sister has this amazing talent, and that she can heal with a touch. And that's a picture of her, a little snippet there of her healing.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And then he figures out that that was probably why the parents were killed. And that he knows for sure when evil forces come to kidnap her, and he has to go on the run with her to keep her safe. So we've got a kind of a situation where we have a road show, a la Supernatural, where they're on the road kind of all the time. But they've got kind of an overarching bad guy, kind of like the fugitive.
Yeah.
So they're on the run from this evil cabal, and as they're running, they run across other subplots along the way. So it becomes a story of how they start becoming a family. They pick up one of Zach's old colleagues, Marine Corporal Olivia Barnes, on the way, and so they become this kind of found family unit.
Okay.
Awesome.
And so part of the story is how they become a family again. He's very resentful for having left the Marines.
Oh,
and,
yeah, understandable.
How they learn to cope with a new normal. The Marine motto is improvise, adapt, and overcome.
Mm-hmm.
And they really have to live that motto. The backstory behind Divinity is a little sad. I mean, it's a lot sad, actually. But my brother was diagnosed with cancer. I dreamed this story, and I realized something about myself. I realized that when I took a very good look at what lengths I would have been prepared to go to save my brother, I was kind of horrified at myself to find that my morals were pretty bad in that regard. I would have done almost anything to save him.
Yeah.
And I realized that how desperate people can become.
Yeah.
And in my subconscious, I wanted to be able to heal him. And that's kind of where this story bubbled up from. So it was a testament to my desperation to save my brother. That didn't happen. But this continued from that. And it's weird because during the artwork for issue number 4, I had Pat and Tim Kennedy of Archie fame, where I've worked with them many times in the past. They penciled issue number 4. And during the penciling of this, Tim passed away from cancer. So, it's kind of grim, huh?
Yeah.
But it's got a lot of, obviously, it's dear to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
I think anybody could relate that if a loved one, how far would you go? What kind of lengths would you go to save a loved one? And you have to admit you'd go pretty damn far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know for certain.
Yes.
About that.
I know. And you find that when you start looking at it, how many people would want to get their hands on somebody who could heal? It wouldn't be just for altruistic purposes.
Right.
It would be, as we find from our villain in issues 1, 2, and 3, it could be for both selfish and greedy reasons. Mr. Pinter, our first foe who pops up, is on a mission from the Table of 5, which is the evil cabal that wants to get their hands on Divinity, to find out if she really does have this ability, and he happens to be very sick. So he tricks her into healing him, and then decides he's going to keep that from the cabal and keep her for himself and pimp her out. To the highest bidder. You have a disease, I have the cure.
Right.
Jeez.
So he has kidnapped her, and in issue number 4, Olivia, this is Olivia, my little badass Marine Corporal, with a Mossberg 500 there.
Yeah.
They have to mount a rescue mission to rescue Vinny from the Mr. Pinter, and stay one step ahead of Mr. E, who is the enforcer for the Cabal. He's the ultimate villain.
Yeah.
He's the enforcer for this mysterious Cabal.
Mhm.
I'm a bit of a firearm buff. I don't know him off the top of my head, but my father, I was raised around firearms and he collected. So I'm very picky about making sure that the firearms in this are true. For
Yeah.
instance, Marine sidearm is a Sig Sauer M18, and it's got to be accurate, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and being a military mom, I also have some insights. My son's been deployed many times, including 3 times to Iraq and twice to Afghanistan.
Wow.
So I get kind of a behind the scenes, for one thing, what it feels like
Yeah.
to have somebody in harm's way. But it also makes me appreciate the qualities that go into a member of our military.
Yeah.
So that's what Divinity is about. Oh, we're going to go back to 2012.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just what came up. Oh, there we go. Wow. That's crazy. So let me do this. Oh, never mind. Can't do both. Anyway, let's go through your past work. I know we're doing this backwards.
That's all right. However it falls into place. I mean, I do a podcast and it goes off the rails constantly.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens to us.
That's half the fun.
Yeah.
Oh, Artemis.
I love that.
That was over. This wasn't over Ivan Reese. This was over. Shoot, now I can't remember. Somebody well known. That was a long time ago. Yeah, that was a Wonder Woman annual.
Wow.
And it wasn't Ivan Reese, because I did Ivan Reese over the that was shit, now everybody went out of my head. Absolutely.
Isn't it funny how that happens?
I know. And Joyce Chin. That was over Joyce Chin, the witch hunter.
Wow.
And that was that was ElfQuest right there. That was over Ken Hooper. Ken used to pencil Aquaman.
Yeah.
And we've worked together several times. In fact, he did one of the covers that you were showing earlier there for Divinity, which is one of the covers that are on sale. But we worked for ElfQuest for a while. This was The Strangers from Malibu, and I'll be damned if I can remember the penciler on that one. Like I said, I've worked with a lot of pencilers over the years.
Yeah.
And I have a habit of forgetting them. Even if I knew them like 5 minutes ago, I've forgotten them now because I'm on the spot.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah. This one is Dean Zachary's pencils. And that was just a piece for fun. That's one of the prints I have for sale, colored prints I have for sale on my shows. But we have worked together since the Malibu days. We did a Nightman issue together, and we've always gelled very well as penciler and inker. There's another piece by Dean and myself.
Wow.
And I love that one. That one I couldn't part with it. That one's on my wall up here. The original Speed Racer. Oh yeah, that was for Now Comics. And not only did he do the comics, but actually these were several. I did several VHS covers. That's back when VHS tapes.
Yeah,
right.
Very good.
So, I did covers for the VHS. There's Derek Robertson, the co-creator of The Boys on Amazon Prime.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we used to work together.
Wow.
At Malibu. This is The Solution, another one of the Ultraverse books.
Yeah.
And Solitaire. Jeff Johnson and I worked together so well. He did a cover for me as well for Divinity. It's the most favorite cover that I currently have, which is the pink one. You'll see it.
Mm.
But we did every issue of Solitaire. This was over Dennis. I can't remember. And this is She-Hulk, obviously. This is She-Hulk.
Right.
Wow.
And he was, that one's over. Again, this is Ken Hooper. Primal Force. I did every issue of Primal Force
Wow.
for DC. Dennis Jensen. I knew I'd remember it sooner or later.
Right.
This is Greg LaRocque, and this was also for Primal Force, where Superman did a guest appearance. And that was a lot of fun. That and Superboy, those were the Superboy annual. Those are the only time I got to work on Superman or Superboy. I would have loved to have taken a crack at the actual Superman title, but I never got close.
Yeah. I mean, this is just great work. I mean, I love it.
Thank you. Well, when I first started out, there's the Nightman piece with Overdeen Zachary. And if you look at all the lines on here, this is all brush work. I worked with brush. I didn't work with pen, although a lot of the stuff I did looked like pen. But I had that kind of mastery over my brush. And that's why when I got to be a certain age and I didn't have that perfect control, I refused to have anything less. So I switched to digital inking so that I could tweak up the streamline control just a bit to take away that wobble, and it works great.
Yeah.
Wow.
This was Mr. Miracle, where we have Big Barda and Wonder Woman in a fight, and this is the same artist that I did the Wonder Woman 2012 over in, and oh boy. And he lives over in the UK. He does a lot of storyboards for Good Omens and Doctor Who.
Wow.
Nice.
And I'll be damned if I can remember. This is Scott Collins, who worked with Mantra again. This was for Ultraverse. That was a lot of fun.
Wow.
Michael Dukavich for, this is obviously Lost in Space.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and this was actually written by Bill Mooney, this issue here. So, and Miguel Ferrer, who's now passed away. It was Bill Mooney and Miguel Ferrer and Michael Dukavich and myself. So that was a lot of fun. Getting to work with well-known people like this is over Ethan Van Sciver for Impulse. I worked on Impulse for 2.5 years.
That's cool.
First over Craig Rousseau and then over Ethan. Originally, I was supposed to wrap it up when Craig and myself left, or they wrapped up the storyline and they changed to a new art team, but the inker got behind, so they brought me back to help out some more. So I got another 6 months out of it.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah. This is over Howard Porter. This is Hawkman. And that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun to work on. I did 3 issues of that. It was beautiful pencils. He has such gorgeous pencils. Of course, I have a lot of pencilers that I just really, really enjoyed working over. I don't think I had many that I didn't enjoy working over, maybe a couple. I hate to say it, but Carmine Infantino was one of them. This is just a pinup.
Yeah.
This was done by Barry. Barry Barry. I can't remember his last name now. This was just a pinup we did. It didn't appear anywhere.
Still, it's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yes, it's a take on V for Vendetta, which if you saw the movie, you'd understand. I loved it.
We did. Whoa.
This was cool to see.
Godzilla
Wow.
for Dark Horse. Almost forgot I did that.
I think that's fun.
I love the sound effects. This was Edison Corliss for Charlton Neo, and once again, this was done over Pat and Tim Kennedy. They can imitate almost any style. It was awesome. They could do an Art Nouveau. They could do children's comics, and they could, if you ask them for a certain style, they could reproduce it. They're just that good.
Wow.
Unfortunately, now it's just Pat. It must be awfully hard to lose a twin.
Jeez.
Man.
So that one's fun. The Detonator. Mel Ruby was the penciler on this. I love Mel. He also did a cover for Divinity for me.
Nice.
And this was Mike Barron's Detonator for Image Comics. Mel's pencils are so gorgeous. He also did, like I said, he did a cover for Divinity, and that I couldn't part with it. That cover and another one by Kevin West were for sale in the first Divinity Kickstarter, and I bought them back from my own Kickstarter because I couldn't part with them.
Wow.
I know. This was Solution number 4. Again, Derek Robertson, and the previous one was also Derek Robertson. So yeah, I've worked with Derek quite a bit. He's actually going to be on one of my podcasts coming up.
Oh, nice.
Again, more Derek. Yes, more Ultraverse.
Yeah.
Which one was this? My glasses are all steamed up. Solutions, more Solution.
Yeah.
Ultraverse. Yeah, there's Cat and Mouse. All right, so there's a story behind this one. Way back, maybe 8 years ago now, 7-8 years ago, Roland Mann and Dean Zachary came to me and said that they were going to resurrect Cat and Mouse from the 90s. It was a black and white comic that Roland put out in the 90s. And actually, he was approached by Hollywood to buy the rights for it, but he turned them down because they wanted to move it to LA when this takes place in New Orleans, which is half the point.
Yeah.
And they were going to resurrect it and kickstart it. And then wanted to know if I'd come on board. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I love these people. So we kickstarted number 1, and it was a nice success. And Roland, who had already had 2 iterations of Silverline Comics, once in the 90s and once in the 2000s, Dean told him, you should really restart Silverline Comics. And he says, I don't know. I've tried it twice before, and it didn't work out very well. I actually lost $20,000 last time I tried this. So the wife says no. And then BJ said, well, if you do this and you don't spend any of our own money, go ahead. And he goes, well, I'm not going to do it unless I get help this time, because the last time he did everything himself, and it was just too much. So BJ, his wife, agreed to be the CEO and run the business side of it. And he said, Barb, do you have any other skills besides being an inker? I says, well, I just spent 20 years as a corporate accountant. He goes, great, you're the CFO. And so we started Silverline back up again, and it's been going fairly good. I mean, it's a slow progression, But
Yeah.
this year we finally went into the Diamond catalog.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Instead of just kickstarting all of our books or crowdfunding all of our books. So it's slowly gaining a name for itself and getting out there. And we've got several books, including Cat and Mouse and Trumps, which is about cards, not politics.
Right.
And Divinity and several other books that are, every single one of the books has got a little bit of a different spin. We're in all genre. We've got children's books, we've got mysteries and horror stories and adventures. And yeah, it's kind of a genre spanning. There's another Cat and Mouse page that I did with Dean. So that book was really well received. And then Divinity came along. It was received even better. So yay.
Yeah.
It won
Wow.
in 2020, Divinity won the best new indie comics of 2020. So yeah.
Nice. Congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you. This is Barbie over Anna Maria Cool. Now, I worked for Marvel. This is true. I did She-Hulk and a lot of different Barbie books and Gargoyles, which is a Disney book. And a couple of little fill-in pieces, but mostly this is back in, you got to remember, this is back in the 90s. So there's a very much of a glass ceiling on a lot of things. And Marvel really only gave me female-focused books.
Oh.
Like Barbie. Whereas DC, Malibu, all the other ones, they didn't care. As long as I met the deadline, I was an inker. That's it. You know, there was no gender thrown into it.
Right.
But Marvel, they would only gave me books that were skewed towards the female population, which at the time ticked me off.
Right.
Because, you know, I was just an inker. There was no gender involved in inking. At least I didn't think so. But looking back on it now, with a few years behind me and knowing how much these books flew off my tables at conventions, I no longer have any issues left because they just sell like hotcakes. I realized that for a lot of young girls, the Barbie comics were their introduction to the comics industry.
Of course.
And it was the toe in the door, so to speak, of getting them involved in comics. And looking at it that way, you know what? I'm kind of proud of that.
Yeah.
So there's a silver lining.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Wow. And so, I'm missing some comments here. Let's see. Good morning. Let's see. We have someone asking, can you draw Slender Man?
Slender Man. I live in Wisconsin, so Slender Man was a huge deal up here because we had several years ago, we had two teenage girls that stabbed one of their friends because Slender Man told them to do it. So that was like a huge thing up here for a long time. And those girls are now coming up for parole. They were teenagers when they did it, and one got out of the asylum and one didn't so far. So yeah, they believe Slender Man was real, and Slender Man was telling them they needed to stab their friends. So yeah, that's my Slender Man story.
All right.
So there you have it, Sean Mason. That's the story with Slender Man. He's over here asking several comments about it. But all right, so now that we went over that, let me pull up this, and I will. Okay, so stop screen sharing, and then I'll share screen again. All right, so here is the Fun My Comic Divinity, and it has everything you could want. This is the shiny foil cover. It looks just so amazing.
Hello?
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
I thought you guys froze.
no.
No.
Okay, so I forgot. I didn't do this.
Yeah, there we go.
I always forget to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is a ton of artwork for sale, including one of the Ken Hooper covers. The amazing Kevin West cover has already sold, but there's pinups from Rick Hoberg. There is a cover from Dean Zachary. The Dean Zachary one there is the black and white. Go back a little bit. Go up. Yep, there's the covers. You can see the Kevin West one is the first one on your left. Is it? Or am I looking at this? Yeah, right there. That's Kevin West. That one has sold, but the next one from Dean Zachary and Tommy Floramonte is available. The one
Wow.
below that on the left, Ken Hooper, that's available.
Yeah.
The Rick
Wow.
Hoberg pinup of Zach, I inked that one. That one is available. And there's a lot of penciled pages, which are incredibly reasonably priced. And there's some inked pages as well. This is from issue number 1, where Alex Sarabia was the penciler for this. He's just fantastic.
Mm.
And there's some inked pages available as well. And you can get every back issue. So like this is issue number 4. So if you wanted to catch up on the whole series, 1 through 4 is available.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So here's the catch up. When anything that says catch up is a get you caught up on the whole deal, which is awesome.
There's my creators. R.A. Jones helped me script. I'm the writer, inker, and colorist. He's the scripter. Tim and Pat were the pencilers for this issue. Mike Belcher was the letterer. It's been amazing working with different artists on this, and I've been blown away by other artists who are willing to chip in and do a cover here or a pin up there.
Right.
It's nice having connections, is what it is.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having 35 years worth of history with people. Well, that's it.
So there's that.
Yeah. It's the amount of the pencil pages I think are only going for $50, which is incredible. The story about how I found Alex was my first penciler was funny because I was looking around for pencilers for issue number 1. This is several years ago. And finding talent is not that easy.
Yeah.
Especially talent that you can afford. And I have a habit of, I know that I get paid on these crowdfunders on the back end, but I don't like to do that to my pencilers because as an artist myself, I know what I like. I like to be paid when I'm done with the work. So I pay my pencilers upon completion, which means that it comes out of my pocket.
Wow.
And then I get reimbursed on the back end.
Yeah.
So my shows are what funds my artists. And I've been fortunate to find some 2 amazing artists in Mexico that Alex Sarabia did issues 1 through 3. And then I've got another one, a fellow named, he wants to go by Tesco 13. He's doing issues starting from issue 5 on. And then I had the Kennedy brothers do number 4. Now, Alex, I found him before episode or issue number 1, was looking around for talent. And this kid just messages me out of the blue after he'd friended me on Facebook. He goes, I'm a huge fan of yours. It's my dream to someday work with you. And I'm like,
Wow.
well, okay, I get that. I get that every once in a while.
Yeah.
But I went to his page and I'm like, oh my God.
Wow.
And I messaged him back. I says, how about right now? And that's how I came up with my first artist. He just fell in my lap, basically.
Wow.
That's so cool. Gotta love that. Oh, dude. I wish I could do that. I mean, there's a lot of things I wish, but yeah, it's still.
Well, I have always tried to treat everybody in the industry, whether it's the CEO of a company or the head editor, or if it's just the janitor cleaning the building, everybody gets treated the same, you know? So I've been very fortunate to make a lot of friends along the way, and it pays off, you know, to be nice to people, because then years down the road, when you need something, they're willing to jump in and help you. So I've had a lot of amazing talent that have offered to do covers for me, or help me, give me reviews or something like that. You know, Maggie Thompson gave me an amazing review. So, and Kevin Van Hook from Bloodshot also gave me a great review. It's nice being able to count on people to step up and support you.
Yeah.
But the only way that comes about is if you treat them with equal respect.
Yeah.
So a lot of people want to know what it takes to make it in this industry. Well, obviously, it takes a lot of hard work and determination and just stick-to-itiveness, because you're going to get 1,000 rejections.
Right.
But my advice also is to be a professional. You know, this is a job, not just a hobby, and to treat everybody professionally and treat them like you want to be treated, because you never know who you're climbing over to get to the top. If you kick them down the ladder, eventually they're going to climb up too, and they may, you know, they may be your boss someday.
Right.
You know? So you got to treat everybody well.
Speaking from someone who's been kicked on the ladder, off the ladder, through the ladder, all that. I know that.
Yeah, it's not an easy industry. Anything to do with the entertainment industry is not easy, because you got to have a skin as thick as a rhino. You know, so if it's too hot in the kitchen, you better get out, because you're not going to survive. Can't take the heat. Get out of the kitchen. The critiques themselves can be just crushing. But what you got to remember is you can't take it personally.
Yeah.
You know, they're not out to get you personally. They're giving you their own opinion on what works and what doesn't work. And you can choose to pick pieces out of those, cherry pick the bits of advice that you want out of these critiques, and toss the rest out.
Yeah.
You know, but don't get angry. These people are telling you what they will like, what they don't like, and you need to listen.
For sure. I mean, listen to a point, but no, I get you. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is just, see, I went to school, creative writing for entertainment, and so that's my. I don't think I can put this into words. In other words, I know what you're talking about. So
you don't have to like some of what they're saying. I mean, you can just ignore it.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple.
Go over it in your head and say, this one makes sense. This piece of advice makes sense. This one's total bullshit. You know, I'm not going to listen to it.
Right.
But every critique that you have, you at least pick up 2 or 3 different good salient points that you need to pay attention to, and you can ignore the rest. Yeah. And each point helps you creep that little bit farther along, you know, towards your goal.
Yep.
But it's not easy sometimes, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so what do you have coming up? Anything that you want to talk about, or anything that I didn't ask that you want to talk about? I might have missed.
I already said that I was working on several projects. One of them is another book for Silverline. It's the faithful adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Really?
Whoa.
Silverline. Yeah, this isn't going to be like this is a new Dracula story, or this is our version of how we would like to have seen Dracula done. No, we're trying to keep this faithful to the original writing. In fact, it'll be quoting right out of the book and a lot of it. But that's been a lot of fun. Rob Davis is penciling. I'm inking, and we're about halfway done.
Nice.
Nikki Clausen is coloring. So we're about halfway done with that. And I'm working on a couple of other projects. One of his is an Oz project, which won't happen till next spring. And the other ones I can't talk about.
Oh boy.
An Oz project? Like
that
Wizard
was
of Oz?
Yeah. It's that's one is not Silverline. That one is with Andy Mangles. And it's the adaptation of the Patchwork Girl of Oz. So, Frank L. Baum had more than just The Wizard of Oz. He had like 9 different books that he put out, each in the Oz universe. So we're doing an adaptation of one of them.
That's cool.
Yeah. What else am I doing besides shows? Dodging tornadoes.
Oh, there you go. It's always a fun one.
Yeah, isn't everybody these days?
Yeah.
Yeah. One way or another.
One way or another. Go down and visit my dad in Iowa. He's a farmer. Still, he's 87, still living on the farm by himself. So we go down and help him, we're leaving there for tomorrow.
Nice.
So do that once a month. Babysit the kids 1 weekend a month. Do a show at least 1 weekend a month, and keep up with my comics and my accounting. So that keeps me more busy.
I have no idea how you handle it all.
I don't know. You get used to budgeting your time when you're a freelancer. That's one of the big things that you have to learn to do is budget your time so that you make your deadlines. In all the years I've done comics, I've never missed a deadline.
Nice.
And that's something to be proud of, because I've had lots of pencilers that blow the deadline, and then I have to catch them up.
Right.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So that's always a challenge, but
Yeah. Oh man. Well, you've been awesome. I don't know even begin where to say. It's just absolute pleasure to talk to you today.
Well, I love meeting new people. So as you can tell, I like to talk. Ask my husband.
Wrong with that.
Yeah, we go to shows, and it's my job to talk, and it's his job to take the money and bag up the product.
There you go.
There you go.
Prints the artwork and the books. He bags them up, takes the money, and I just
Yeah.
Fill the gaps.
Yep, I'm just the mouthpiece.
You're a good team then.
Well, we better be after 43 years.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get there one day.
It's a journey.
Yeah, for sure. Well, like I said, it's been a pleasure to have you. Check out any of the go check out this link here at the bottom that we have scrolling. Also in the comments, go fund their comic, buy their comic. It's going to be awesome.
It's something that's near and dear to my heart. I truly believe in.
Mm-hmm.
I think it can touch something in everybody who reads it. It's got a little bit of something, it's a little soap opera, a lot of adventure, some angst, some teenage angst. I don't know if you guys have kids. Do you guys have kids?
Yes.
2.
How old?
10 and
well,
7.
they're practically teenagers, but they're only 7 and
10.
10.
Yes. It's a 10-year-old, a boy or a girl?
They're both girls.
They're both girls, yeah.
You know of which I speak then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Eye rolling alone is just epic.
Yeah.
I mean,
I didn't eye roll. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Don't take that attitude with me.
Right.
one of the funniest things about the end of this issue is that, and I'm gonna give you guys a spoiler here. So, at the end of this issue 4, where they wrap up the current subplot and move on to the next subplot in 5, Olivia wants to come along with Zach, and he's like, I can't ask you to do this. This is like upending your entire life, and it's too dangerous. And she goes, okay. So when Divinity gets her first period, what are you going to do? And he goes, oh yeah, you can come along. So I don't shy away from that stuff.
Nice.
It's slice of life.
Yeah.
How's a 24-year-old Marine who's used to saying jump and you say how high, and then he gets a 11-year-old who's got says who? You're not the boss of me.
Right.
You're not the boss of me.
So I don't envy that at all, and I'm not looking forward to the stage in our lives where we have to deal with the whole periods and the. I'm not ready for it. I'm not ready. And the boys, no, thank you.
Yeah, I have my daughter is my oldest, and my son is my youngest. They're 41 and 38 now. 39?
Wow.
39. Yeah, so I have grandkids who are 3 and 5. So I'm out of the adult stage and back to the toddler stage. I was like, oh my God, we got to go through this all again. But fortunately, I get to send them home after a rough day.
Yeah.
Instead of having to deal with it constantly. But yeah, it's reminding me why we only chose to have 2.
Absolutely. All right. Well, it like I said, it's been a pleasure, and go buy their comic.
Yes, please. I would be very highly thankful if you would at least check out the Kickstarter, everybody.
For sure.
Just click on it and just read through it, if nothing else,
Yeah, for sure.
And and if you can't buy, if you can't afford, please share. Go to Facebook, go to Instagram. I have an Instagram account, a Twitter account, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok. I'm the only Barbara Kaalberg out there. It's not hard to find me. Yeah, so share my posts if you can't buy. That would be a tremendous help.
For sure.
Okay.
And also this foil cover, I mean, come on.
Oh, I know. I
It
hadn't seen
is
that.
so
Yeah.
gorgeous. Like I just want the foils, all of it.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that until the crowdfunder kicked off, and I looked at the video, and I'm like, oh man, this is so badass. That one's going on my wall.
Yeah, it is.
That cover.
Yeah.
I just realized you can't see what I was just looking at, but all right, sorry. I can't. Oh, there we go. Replay. There we go. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the colors on it. They really pop.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
I did the colors, so thank you very much. I'm still learning. I've only been coloring for a few years, so I'm still getting my feet under me as far as that. Yeah. It's a constant learning process.
Definitely.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Cool.
All right, but like I said, it's been awesome. Let's check back in later, and we'll see how it's doing.
Thank you.
You're about halfway there now, currently. So let's
about another
keep
3
pushing.
weeks to go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So thank you very much for having me.
Yeah.
You guys are cool.
Thanks.
People I'd like to hang out with on in real life.
Right.
Nice.
If I can get a hold of my life here, I'll be able to function. Can't think of what I'm trying to do. Play us out. Yes, sure. All right. Until next time,